everyone, and welcome to both Off the System and Tar Talks, as this episode is going to be uploaded on both the podcasts. Mental health is such an interesting topic and something all of us have frequent conversations about. And to ensure that this conversation is more accurate, today we have with us someone very special. Miss Sakshi Harlalka has been a practicing counseling psychologist who deals with grief, trauma, relationship issues. However, her niche area is adolescence. And today she is here to have a mythbuster session with us about what it truly is to be a part of the mental health spectrum. So, Miss, I would start by asking you, as a psychologist, what is mental health?
Like how we have a physical body, we also have a mental body. So to say, our brain is the physical component that is what we see tangibly. Now, this brain is innumerable processes are going on in this brain. Can you ever take a moment to think that how is it that you feel hunger? How is it that you feel satiety? How is it that you feel fear? These are all emotions or mechanisms that are happening inside the brain, primarily which is not seen and which is not tangible, which does not mean it does not exist. Like our physical body, mental health also needs a continuous check and it needs a continuous understanding as to why is mental health so important. You see, if, let's say, somebody is fearful in a particular situation, perhaps I would not be fear in that situation. How is this functioning? This is functioning only because I am a different person with a different mental make. That is why, in a particular situation, I am fearing, but you are not. Or perhaps you are fearing, I am not. So this is what mental health is. That everybody has a different kind of exposure, a different kind of an experience, a different kind of a response to each and every situation. And that is what is my understanding of mental health.
So, that was so informative. Thank you so much. I understood so much about mental health from that. Now, focusing on school students specifically, in Good Shepherd, we live in a boarding school. And I've noticed, and I'm sure you have too, it is so easy for students to throw around words such as being anxiety-ridden, being depressed, or having OCD or bipolarity. What is your say on that? How do you think that us as school-going students should approach mental health?
Yes, it's a very good question, Prisha, because you see, I have been observing even in my stay in Good Shepherd, where I have seen that people are very conveniently using the words like depression, bipolar. But you believe you me, when you walk into my clinic, you will realize that depression is way far what you are even imagining. Depression is way far more what you can even fathom about it. So, you see, I will sincerely request each and every person to step down the words to a more simpler version. For example, for depression, you can use words like upsetness, disappointment, sadness. You see, the moment you minimize the intensity and degree of depression to sadness, upsetness, or disappointment, you're any which way is making the problem from bigger to smaller. You are reducing and minimizing. The magnification word is depression, but you are bringing down it to simplification. So that is the reason, first and foremost, it's not a fad. It's not something that you should feel cool about. It is not something that is going to give you attention. On the contrary, it is going to give you a label that you would perhaps carry all your life, which would make you a stigmatized child. So that is why, as per me, one must refrain from using such words. You may use the words like worry for anxiety. You may use words fear for phobia. You may use words like upsetness, disappointment for depression. You may use words like, for example, impulsivity and aggressiveness for the words like anger management and all these things.
Yeah.
So the more you simplify, the better it is for us.
I agree with that so much. And that also makes me think about this. Do you think that one's perspective, the way we see what we're going through in life, actually impacts the way our own mental health in return?
Of course, because a human is made of nature and a nurture interaction. So you see, it is not just about how I have genetically inherited anger or how my circumstances have made me an angry person. Many a times I have come across people where even the nature has been very calm and composed, yet they are taking sessions for anger management. Why? Because it is the nurture which has stimulated that anger within them, perhaps which was somewhere laid and suppressed inside them. So it is not just about trying to understand that, am I really like this? Here, I would also like to point out one most important thing is that let's not consider ourselves to be abnormal. That is one thing I would really suggest and focus on, not using the word abnormal casually. Because you see, abnormality is something which is not about being normal. Perhaps today, even autism is normal, even bipolar is normal, even depression is normal, because it is there available in the community very conveniently.
Of course. And just adding in, because you mentioned how today all of this has been normalized, it is such a common misconception that so many people have that all the mental health issues going around are a modern day problem.
Yes, I totally agree, especially coming from the people who are so-called millennials in our language, or let's say so-called adults. They definitely feel this, that this problem is normal. It's okay. It was always there. What's the big deal? Move on. These are the normal statements that I generally hear from the adults giving it to me. And in fact, when I wanted to become even a psychologist, my father literally slapped me and said that, this, what are you going to do with the working with the people who are mad? But trust me, it's not just about being mad. It's more about managing your emotions, managing your thoughts, primarily because the stimulation has increased, primarily because the gap and understanding between one generation to another generation has increased. Also, the listening ear has started to become obsolete and absent. So that is the reason you see mental health has now become an open statement. It has become a revealing statement. Of course, I agree. We do come across a lot of people in our practice who are also pseudo mental health issues, who are fabricating the issues, but there are genuine ones which are not addressed. And earlier it was suppressed, now it is about expression.
And as you mentioned, mental health is all about managing those emotions. So whenever I have someone come up to me and tell me that mental health is a modern day issue, all I can think of is, since when is having emotions a modern day thing?
Correct. Absolutely, I agree. You see, patience is what? It is a positive emotion that we are taught. Why are we taught? We shouldn't have been taught this positive emotion also then in that case, because patience was always existing, resilience always existing, tolerance always existing. Then why is it that we are making negative emotion such a big taboo or such a big concern when it comes to mental health? Because people are not aware mental health is not just about having negative emotions. It is also about uplifting positive emotions.
Exactly. So now I have something to ask you, very important. As this podcast, we do primarily focus on school-going students. As a psychologist, what is one advice you would give to us when we feel down because of our studies, pressure, schedule?
I honestly, personally believe there is no rule book. I honestly, personally believe that's what I've also been teaching my children who are also adolescents. There is no rule book. Just because your mama is a therapist or a practicing counseling psychologist doesn't mean that I have to load you with the skills and techniques. Figure out your own coping mechanism. Figure out your own instinct that has probably pulled you at least once in your life, and remember that, recollect that, live through that entire moment like a movie. Feel it like a happy moment. And the moment you are able to rejuvenate yourself from that happy moment, because it is the one who you gathered that happy moment, a therapist or a parent did not gather for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the moment you gather that happy moment, think of it that time, pause for a moment, understand things, and automatically you are back to bounce. So it's okay. That's how life goes.
As an adolescent, this makes me think so much because now I've realized in the end it is what you do and you are in charge of your happiness.
Of course.
You can observe the patterns, you can see what makes you
Of
happy, what
course.
does not, and you can focus on the things that do.
Of course. And secondly, Prisha, one more interesting thing is that what you could be happy about, perhaps it's not important for me. And what I can be happy of, indeed, it's not important for you. So if, that is why every individual is distinctive, he's unique, also has the ability to recollect, understand who he is. All that person needs is to just pause. Pause for a minute, pause for a day, pause for a month, probably. It's okay. Everybody has their own resilience. Everybody has their own threshold.
Yeah.
Do we all eat the same food? No. Do we eat the same quantity? No. Do we sleep the same quantity? No. So it is different. That brings us to the entire idea that your coping mechanism also is different.
Exactly. And when we live in a boarding school and we're such a close-knit community of students, we often forget how, we are individuals too. So I have seen this so often. If one person in a friend group is down, the entire friend group is going to be
follow
down.
the flock.
Or if one person does something to be happy, everyone will be doing that. But then in a reflecting light, is that what we should be doing?
I see. This is something which is very subjective. Now, I'm sure you must have traveled in an aircraft. What is it said? Put your own oxygen mask before you put on for the other person, right? So similarly, group cohesiveness, yes, it is very important. It teaches you a lot of skills like empathy, compassion, tolerance, when to speak, when not to speak, resonating with people. But you must make sure which group do you hang out in. If at some point of time you feel that you are not okay with it, voice your opinion, stand up for yourself, of course courteously and politely, of course cordially. Even if after that the person is not understanding where you are coming from, it's okay to distance yourself with a smile, but not cut off. Because you see, once you cut off, you really don't know if God puts you into the same situation and you may have to go back to that same person at some day. So distance yourself, maintain your boundaries, and maintain your group cohesiveness. Apart from that, if you see that something wrong is happening, do stand up for that. Because you see, if you don't stand up for yourself, people will not stand for you. So if something wrong is happening, something unethical is happening, okay, once you can defend that person, but not the second time. Because you will be penalized for it and your friend will having the last laugh.
Exactly. And it's important to, remember that while our friends and the people we hang out with are such an important part of us, we also have to correctly choose who we're hanging out with.
Yes.
And, not that anyone is bad, but some people are not meant to, be together or...
You rightly said, nobody's bad, nobody's right, nobody's wrong.
Exactly.
And when you enter into a campus or when you enter into a boarding school, everything is very like an oblivion to you. Everything is like a utopian world to you. You understand? You're full of emotions because the system is new, the campus is new, the food is new, people are new. Lot of talks are new. The verbatims that are used by the people are new.
Yeah.
So you can't understand what is right, what is wrong. Of course, I will say that as children, do fall even in friendships. Do choose wrong friends also. Because when you choose wrong friends who are not connecting with your value system, you realize the value of your own value system.
Yeah.
So you see, it is important to also connect with the people who are not aligning with your value. Because unless you do not do that, you are not awakened from inside that, okay, this is not my value system.
Exactly. Self-discovery through others. I've read so much about that.
Yes. So this is what is called to understand who fits in your circle, who fits out your circle.
Yeah. So, as we move towards the end of this, any closing remarks or anything you would like to communicate to our student community?
Of course, I would like to say one important thing, that it's not always that you have to try and figure out that the problem, to solve a problem, either you have to have a fight or a flight motion. You can freeze also. You can freeze for some time. So to say that it's not important that suppose you do not like someone, a school teacher in your campus, it's not that you can demand the teacher to be removed. You can learn the art to impress that teacher. It is possible. And not every time is it possible that the solution will fit as per you. Can you change your parents? You can't.
Yeah.
Can you change your grandparents? You can't. Do you leave them and go? You can't. What do? You just learn the art of communicating at the right time, maintaining silence, and communicating at the right time has to go parallelly. So, that is what I would like to tell the teenagers. Do not magnify your emotions. Do not magnify your words. The more you magnify that, you're magnifying the thoughts. And the more you magnify your thoughts, they get out of your management. They get out of your control. The more you minimize them, I'm not saying suppress, but be realistic, minimize them, automatically you will find the answer or the solution to communicate your problems.
Yeah.
But do communicate your problems.
So that was extremely thought-provoking. As an adolescent sitting over here with you, I have so many personal takeaways from this.
I'm glad. Thank you so much.
I hope the school community does too, which I know they definitely will. So thank you so much for being here today.
I am really feeling grateful that I have been invited on this podcast, and I feel really great about it. Thank you so much.